Now this is the second video which I do it on semantics, and in this video I am going to continue talking about what uh, uh, the relationship between, I mean, in this video I'm going to talk about the lexical relationships. Earlier we talked about semantic features of words, and each word has, or each noun has its own semantic features. Say animate, for example, inanimate, adult, adulthood, animate, inanimate, uh, okay, other things like, yeah, female, male. These we call it semantic feature. We can depend on these features to distinguish between nouns. Nouns, and this also helps to not helps to avoid what we call odd sentences. Also, we talked about, and we said also that these things, these features, show us that words are containers of meanings. Yeah, but this is not reliable all the time, as we said with abstract nouns like advice, for example, like courage, like bravery, etc., etc. Also, we talked about what semantic roles. Nouns can take semantic roles within a sentence, and the semantic roles taken by this noun may not be taken by that noun. Right. Today we are going to talk about what we call lexical relationships. Now, words, as I said yesterday at the end of the last video, that words in a language are not like particles flying in the air. No, they are not like. There are ties between these sentences. Ties. These ties are called lexical relationships. These lexical relationships are represented in synonyms, antonyms, hyponyms, and other relationships. Now, what do we mean by synonyms? Synonyms, we mean the meaning of one word is related to the meaning of another word in terms of sameness. These two words which are the same as far as meaning is concerned, and because of this, one can be used instead of the other. For example, the word as it is given to us here, almost, can be a synonym, can be replaced by what the word nearly, big and large, and reply, and so on. Now here we are the relationship between these. What connects these words, such words, almost, nearly, big, large, and so reply, that they are related. They are having the same meaning. But we should keep in mind something, and that is, when we say the sameness of meaning or the sameness in meaning, it doesn't mean total sameness. You see, here, when using the word total, it means that it is not always true using one word instead of the other because they are synonyms. It's not necessarily. The example given here can best clarify this notion. For example, Sandy has only one answer, only one answer, correct on the what? On the test. So here we have answer and reply. Now, can we use answer, the word reply instead of answer? As he says here, although, he says here that the word reply would sound odd. If you use the word, reply here, then the sentence is going to be odd. So put in your mind that yes, they are related in meaning. They are the same in meaning, but not total sameness. By total sameness, I mean they cannot be used. One cannot be used instead of the other. They can be used, but not all the time. So one has to be careful about this. Right now, sometimes. Another example is the word, for example, broad and wide. Broad and wide. Broad and wide. These are synonyms. But what does he say here? Although broad and wide can both be used to describe a street in a similar way, we only talk about being in broad agreement. We say broad road, wide road, but we cannot say in a broad. We say in a broad agreement. We only talk about being in a broad agreement, not wide agreement. So we say broad agreement, but not wide agreement. So here, broad and wide, they are similar. They are synonyms, but you cannot use a broad here. You cannot use wide instead of a broad in broad agreement. Sometimes synonyms are because of, as he says here, this leads us to talk about what we call American English and British English. Like what, for example? Here he says because of regional differences, America and England. The use of, we have synonymous pairs. Candy, for example, candy and chips. What else? Diaper, etc. And gasoline. Now, this is in America. Now, what do we say here? Here we say sweets in Britain. Sweets. What about chips? He says here, chips. What about chips? He said crispy. Nappy. Nappy diapers. What else? Petrol. So candy instead of sweets. This is America. Chips in America. Crispy in England. Diaper in American nappy in England. Gasoline in America. Petrol in England. I don't want to talk more about synonyms, but I read to you the definition given by George Joule, as far as to the word synonyms. What does he say here? He says synonyms means what? Synonyms, as he says here, the lexical relation. Lexical relation, yeah. Earlier we said semantic feature. Here we say lexical relation. So words are related to each other. What about it? He says in which the lexical relation in which two or more words have very closely related meanings. Two or more words have very closely related meaning. Very closely related meaning. The example is conceal is a synonym of hide. Even in Arabic, we say, what's the meaning of, for example, جاء. يقول لي جاء ممكن يقول لي أقول لك جاء معناه قدم. Like this, for example. Okay? جاء قدم. Right. This is an example of what? Synonym what in Arabic? جاء وقدم. Right. Now I leave this, then I go to the another type of relationship, semantic relationship, that is which we call antonyms. Antonyms. Now, what is the meaning of antonyms? Antonyms, as he says here, let me start here with the definition of antonyms. Opposites, مضادات. Now, when I say what's the meaning of ليل أقول لك عكس نهار. شنو عكس حار؟ تقول لي عكس شو معنات حار؟ What's the meaning of cold؟ يعني بارد أو برودة تقول لي heat مثلا أو hot. You know, cold can be a noun, can be an adjective. Right. So now here we are talking about opposites. Now what does he say? Antonyms. Antonyms. What does he say about it? He says a lexical relation in which words have opposite meaning. Opposite. Opposite. Right. For example, shallow. 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 Shallow is the opposite of what? Deep. Okay. شو معنات? What's the meaning? شو معنات ضحل؟ يعني ضحل ماء ضحل تقول لي عميق. So here you give me the opposite, so I understand. So now I understand the meaning of a word in terms of its opposite. So such a relationship is called antonym. Right. In antonym, more examples given in antonym by for example, big and small. Big is the opposite of small. Enter, exit. Enter, exit. Exit. Fast, slow. Fast, slow. Now here, if you look, if we look at this big and small, fast and slow, here we can make the comparative form of here in antonyms. We have fast, we have faster, we have fastest, small, smaller, smallest, big, bigger, biggest. Here we have gradability. We have along a scale, and just like grades in on a thermometer, 0, 1, 2, 3, 20, 30, like this. We have gradation. Okay. Now here, when I here we can distinguish. Another, sorry, before I leave this, we have another type of antonyms, where we have, for example, we have dead and alive, male, female, male, female. What else? Male, female, yeah, right. Male, female, married, single, yeah. Married, single. Now, what is the difference between this group, or this group of antonyms, and this group of antonyms? Big, small, enter, exit. Of course, here we have verbs. Here we have adjective. So you can antonyms not necessarily with adjectives. No, they can be with verbs also. As he says, enter, exit, happy, sad. Right. Now, what is the point? The point here, as I said, that we can make comparative form. When I say big, bigger, biggest, small, smaller, smallest, as if we have a scale, right? Gradation. Here, we cannot say dead, deader, alive, aliver. Because we do not have this, we call such antonyms as non-gradable. Non-gradable. يعني here gradable شلون احنا يعني graded يعني مجزء هكذا. Okay, graded, just like a grade يعني مثل علامات. What's your grade in the exam, or a grade 1, a grade 2 يعني الصف الأول الصف الثاني, like this. So now here we call them non-gradable. Non-gradable what? Antonyms. It means we cannot make dead, deader, alive, aliver. No, it's not. That's not possible. Here it is possible. We say fast, faster, slow, slower. Okay. Now we call them these non-gradable because we cannot say dead, deader. That we call them non-gradable. Here we say big, bigger, biggest. We say gradable. Gradable. Gradable what? Antonyms. Now, what is the difference between gradable and non-gradable antonyms? The difference between gradable antonyms, here when I say the negative of big is not necessarily, when I say it is not big, it is not necessarily that it is a small. When I said this is a big house, it's not necessarily that the negative is going to be what? The opposite. No, it's not necessary. When I say my car is old, it doesn't mean that it is not new. The negative of it. It doesn't mean that it is not new. But here, the negative, it gives you exactly the opposite. When I say dead, it means the opposite. It means not alive. That is here we can't say not alive. When I say male, not female. So the negative gives you what the meaning of the. We can use. I mean, or let me put it this way: we can use not here. Say male, it means not is a female, or not a male, not a female. So when you can use not here. So when you say male, it means not. The opposite is female, or we say not a male. Male, the negative of male is female. So we can say dead. Let me put it this way in order to be clear. When I say dead, it means not alive. Male, it means not female. Married, it means not single. So we can use the particle not here. It is not, and it gives me exactly the same meaning. I mean the opposite, but here it is not. What is the reason beyond this here? Because we have no gradation here. There is no gradation, so it is possible to use what? Not here, but using not here does not give you the exact opposite of what? Of the word. So now this relationship, we call it what? Antonyms or opposite. Right. So I repeat reading to you the meaning of the word antonym. Antonym means what? As he says here, antonym means the lexical relation in which words have opposite meaning, opposite, مضاد, عكس مضاد. Okay, right. إذا أقول in Arabic for example يعني أقول مثلا أقول داخل دخل عكس خرج. بعد هذه in Arabic ما بيها gradation. Okay, ما بيها gradation هذه. أقول مثلا ليل، الليل. هنا أقول نهار، أقول نهار. ما بي there are no gradation here. فإذا الليل النهار يعني night and day يعتبر non-gradable what antonyms. بينما أقول بارد وحار لا أقول هنا you can say أبرد أحر أكثر برودة لا. So gradation. I leave this and then I move to what? To what we call hyponyms. Hyponyms, put in your mind, the word hyponyms means put in your, in order to understand the notion of hyponyms as a semantic relationship, put in your mind the word inclusion. يعني one word, the meaning of one word is included in the meaning of what? Of another word. So when I say, for example, when I say what? When I say, as he says here, horse, animal, and horse. So when I say animal and horse, so the meaning when I talk about horse, I say horse is an animal. So the meaning of one word is included in the meaning of animal. So horse is a hyponym of what? Of the word what? Animal. Now let's see what he says here about the definition of hyponyms. When the meaning of one form is included, see the word included, in the meaning of another, the relationship is described as hyponym. Examples are pairs animal, animal, horse, insect, ant. Insect, insect, ant. Flower, rose. The concept of inclusion تضمن يعني this included the meaning of that word. Here he says involves in this relationship is the idea that if an object is a rose, then it is necessarily a flower. So the meaning of a flower is included in the meaning of rose, or rose is a hyponym. Rose is a hyponym of flower, includes flowers, includes. So now, animal includes horse, okay, includes horse. As he says here, rose is a hyponym of what? Flower, includes a flower. Right, now, in order not, I don't want to talk about this in detail, but let me give you an example. Take, for example, living, in order to include, to clarify the notion of inclusion, living object, a thing. Suppose we have this creature and plant. What about this? Here under a creature we can put, as he says, your animal and what? Plant. Bird, sorry. Bird. Bird. What about a plant? We say vegetables. Vegetable. What else? A flower. flower, and what else? Tree. Under animal, we can put, for example, dog. We can put horse and duck. Under bird, we can put what? We can put parrot, and we can put what? We can put here duck. Here we have also insect. In addition, insect, insect. Parrot, and duck. D-U-C-K. Here when we put, here we put ant. We put what else? We put cockroach. Cockroach. So what about vegetables? We put turnip. Turnip. A flower, we put rose. And then under tree we have pine. Pine, vine. Right. So now what is, now here we have, he's going to explain to us the relationship now between words: animal, dog, horse, duck, bird, parrot, duck, parrot, duck. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I moved this. Okay, put it under bird. He says, looking at the diagram, we can say that horse is a hyponym of animal. Horse is a hyponym of animal, included in animal. Or ant is included in, is a hyponym of insect. Hyponym included in. In these two examples, as he says here, animal and insect are called, having an animal or insect, I call them superordinate. Having animal or superordinate. I call them superordinate. What does it mean, superordinate? It means high level. We can also say that animal and insect are called superordinate. Now, when what else? We can also say that the two or more words that share the same superordinate, يعني الآن the same superordinate. We can also say that two or more words that share the same superordinate term are called what? Hyponyms. Called co-hyponyms. Then I have superordinate and then co-hyponyms. Then مثلا animal and insect are superordinate, high level. Now dog and horse, because they are under animal, I call them co-hyponyms. So as he says here, dog and horse are what? Are what? That share the same superordinate. So when two words share the same superordinate, we call them what? Co-hyponyms. Right. So now animal and insect are superordinate. Dog and horse are what? Are uh, cohyponyms. Ant and cockroach are also cohyponyms of their superordinate is what is insect. This is as far as what? As far as hyponym. So put in your mind the hyponym in order to understand the notion of hyponym as a lexical relationship. We remember the word inclusion. Remember the word what? Inclusion. Here we have hyponym. Hyponym, the lexical relation, the definition given by Yule, the what? The lexical relation in which what? The meaning of one word is included. See the word inclusion in the meaning of what? Another word. What does he say here? He says daffodil is a hyponym of flower. Daffodil is a hyponym of a flower. Daffodil is included in the word what? Flower. So flower is the superordinate. Flower is superordinate. Okay. Daffodil and rose are cohyponyms. One meaning is included in the meaning of another, which is larger than it. Right. This is as far as the idea of what hyponyms. Now let's move to another also type of what relationship represented in what we call homophones and homonyms. Right. So see now the lexical relationships are represented in sameness in meaning, but not total sameness, opposite of meaning, inclusion, the idea of inclusion, and now we are talking about how words you can understand them from their what? Their pronunciation can help. So when you say homophones, homo means one, phones means sound. So one sound. Two words have the same sound. They are written or spoken, as he says here, when two or more different written forms, different, you see, emphasize the word different what? Written forms have the same pronunciation. Different written form have the same pronunciation. They are described as homophones. I repeat, when two or more different written forms, or different forms, because the word written is between parentheses, have the same pronunciation, they are called homophones. For example, if I take the word bear and bear, bear and sorry about that, bear, bear and bear, two written forms, they are of the same pronunciation. They are of the same what? Pronunciation. Bear and bear. Right. What else? Meat and meat. Meat and meat. What else? Flour and flour. So such words are called, they are related. So what then? They are totally, bear is different from bear. Bear is an adjective. Bear is a noun. Meat is a verb. Meat here is a noun. Flour is a noun. Flour is a noun. But there is a difference. Flour, as we have just taken it, it is the superordinate of the word rose and daffodil. Now, meat, see, the sound here is this one. This is ow, okay? And this is the, the. So now see the sound here is the same. It's found in both words here. So that's why we call them homophones. Homo means one. Homophones, the same sound, but they are totally different in meaning. Then someone might ask, then what is then how do these words are related? They are related in terms of their what and their pronunciation. They have the same sound. So when two words which have the same sound, they pronounce the same. They are written. They have different spelling, but they are pronounced exactly the same because they have the same vowel sound. Then in that case we call them homophones, and the relationship here is because of what their pronunciation. They have both have the same sound. Now what else? What about this is as far as homophones. Now what about the second one, homonyms? Homo. شوف homo here, homo. Here also homonyms. Here homophone. Then what's the relationship? What does he say? We use the term homonyms to mean what? When one form, written or spoken. So here we have the same spelling. Here we have the same pronunciation, the same sound. Here we have the same sound. Here we have the same spelling but different meaning. The same sound, different meaning. That what is then the point? Take for example, when I say right, pen, and I have another word, pen. Now pen here and pen here, they are homonyms. They are of course they are considered as different words. The same spelling, homonyms, the same spelling, but they have totally different meaning. They have the same sounds, and they are also what different. But here there is a difference. Here you see here they are related in terms of different spelling, the same sound. Here we have the same spelling, yes, and the same word, the same spelling, the same pronunciation, but they are different. They have different entry, lexical entry. Another example is what is race and race. Race and race. So now let's come to the meaning of this. Pen, as he says here, pen, writing instrument. This one, writing instrument. Pen is an enclosed area. So there is a different enclosed area. منطقة مغلقة محاطة مسيجة. Here pen as writing instrument. Sorry. قلم. Now what about race? Race in sports, as he says here, the contest of speed. يعني سباق. And the second one is ethnic group, عرقي, مجموعة عرقية. So now see how now such words, when they have the same spelling, the same pronunciation, but they are different in meaning. So race and race, pen and pen, they have different, each one has its own lexical entry, of course, because they are not related in meaning. They are totally different in meaning. Right. Similarly, these, of course, they are. Each one has its own lexical entry. Now, So now this is the last lexical relationship which I talk about. The last point with which I stop is uh, here we are talking about what we call collocation, مصاحبة والملازمة. Collocation. Collocation. What does it mean, collocation? Let's go to the book and see what does he say about collocation. Collocation, collocate, the verb collocate. المصاحبة والملازمة. Collocate means, as he says here, collocation, he says, of course, here the lexical relationships, collocations is not included within lexical relationships which we have just explained, such as synonyms, antonyms, hyponyms, homophones, homonyms. No, this is something else. Now, what does it mean? A relationship between words that frequently occur together. Words that occur together. Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. So salt and pepper, salt and pepper, salt and pepper, they collocate. They collocate. Now let us see what Yule says about the word, the concept of collocation. He says that one final aspect of what? Our knowledge of words and how they are used has nothing to do with any of the what factors considered so far. Yani antonyms, synonyms, hyponyms, homonyms. As a mature speakers of a language, we all know which words tend to what? To occur with other words. يعني الآن هنا which word occurs with this word. If you ask 1,000 people what they think of when you say of a hammer, when they think of a hammer, what does he say? He says more than half will say nail. So nail and hammer. Right. احنا كذلك مثلا بالعربي نقول مطرقة وسندان. hammer and anvil. ممكن hammer وanvil. السندان مطرقة والسندان. If you say table, they will mostly say chair. منضدة كرسي. So they are related. And this occurs with this. And better elicits تستدعي bread. شوف bread and butter. Tea and milk. Needle elicits thread, and salt elicits what? Pepper. What is the last point with which one way we seem to organize our knowledge, نرتب معرفة of word, is simply on the basis of what? Collocation, or frequently occurring. يعني these frequently occurring together. So now this word occurs with, I cannot use milk, for example, with for example, tomato. No, it's not like this. They do not occur together. When I say tomato, maybe what comes to your mind elicits cucumber. So now here we are talking about the relationship between words are not in terms of what we have just explained. Synonyms, antonyms, no, but in terms of what? Collocation, they occur together. This is the last point with which I stop, and thank you very much. Thank you.